It's good to see you guys. It's good to be off to a new week. It's tough, tough night, Saturday night. A lot of things to build off of, though. So we're focusing on that. Meetings and everything this morning. It's good to get everyone back together. There is a somberness there still, so we had to kind of work it out in the practice. I feel like we'll probably have to go through all of that the rest of today. I thought Saturday's game was a tough one, but I think the message there is that hey, you can prepare, you can practice, you can do all of the things. That doesn't mean you're going to win. There's still more things that you got to do, and so that's there's no participation trophy for preparing right and staying late and doing the extra. All these details matter, and so we're really focused on that. Take any questions you guys got.
Dave, I don't think we asked you about Palmer's coffin corner punt the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Could he have executed that much better, and just how much of a weapon is he?
He's a huge one. That is something that's really as perfectly executed as that was. It's just taken so much work. It's really taken from whether it's Mark Scott or Ryan Pollard or Palmer staying late, doing extra. That has been, his leg is so great that a lot of times he just wants to put everything into it, and then we start. We're not pinning him, and so for him to kind of pinpoint that and get it down, to have the roll, all of that's part of it, and he's really, really worked hard to do that, and proud of him for that. Proud of the coverage too, because that's been the other part, is we've been able to get the kick at times and not the coverage piece, and so to get them both is a good start. I want to see more of those in the future when we have the opportunity to do that.
Coach, you mentioned complimentary football a couple times after the game.
Yeah.
It's been lacking all season,
Mm-hmm.
That's what you said. I guess how much of a focus is that this week? And, is this a good opportunity to kind of fix some of those things?
It continues to be a focus. I think, there's always, I think without any coaching, without any awareness, the focus is always on me, right? It's like, hey, how am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? Hey, I'm making plays. Right, or hey, I didn't make these plays. I feel kind of crappy right now. Then I think with some coaching and with some philosophy, then you can get into the unit. Hey, offensively, we're doing good. I don't know about that other side. Or defensively, hey, we're getting stops, but I don't know about what the other side's doing. But I think the higher level than all of that is the team. Is that, if one side's down, the other side picks it up. If one side makes a huge play, there's a momentum that you can ride and get another play. And so we're just going to continue to preach that. We try to show great examples of that. There are a few from this year, not nearly enough from us. And we need to be able to have that. When we've played at the level that we need to play, we play that way. And so we're going to continue to aim for it.
To that point, like Sawyer talked after the game about just obviously the loss always stings,
Mm-hmm.
but he said it hurt more because he felt like the offense didn't sort of live up to its
Mm-hmm.
potential while the defense was playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
That shows a pretty high care factor on his part. Are you still seeing that out of these guys?
Yeah, it hurts when you're all invested, and you think about. Not only Sawyer, but Josh. It means everything to Josh, and he puts his heart and soul into it. I haven't seen Josh Cameron's betting, but it may be Baylor football betting. I don't know. I remember when I was a kid, I had like LA Rams betting. Josh may be like that, and I just like he's all in. And for him to have a night like that, and for him, he's still leading in the midst of that, and I think that's just so hard to do. I think again, you can always think of yourself so easily, but to not only think of the unit but think of the team and try to be able to get the team going when you're just taking blows and hits and all that. That says a lot about that man's character. So.
With that somber mood that you're kind of talking about, I'm sure it's good because it shows that these guys just care so much. But kind of how do you address that in moving forward and trying to get that energy back up?
Yeah, we just keep working. You got to put the focus on what's next. And so there's just an introduction of Oklahoma State today. The majority of that's going to come tomorrow. A lot of guys will be around a little bit later today on their own, and they'll kind of have their kind of first look at them. And I think once they see the talent that's there and the potential with this team in Stillwater, they're going to have a lot of respect for them and know that it's going to take our best to go over there and get a win.
You talked about Travion after the game. I'm assuming, or is that season ending, and who do you look to maybe step up in those positions?
Yeah, so he's getting surgery, I think, at noon. And so just, I think we have an injury to Phoenix Jackson and now an injury to Travion. Those are two of our kind of main portal additions, Devin Turner would be another one of our main portal additions. And so, it's next man up in all those areas. I think with Jay Red, you're seeing him step up in the safety spot, right? And so linebacker-wise, we got Kylan Reed, we got Kalen Burns, we've got a couple guys that are in position, J.J. Evans, that need to take that next step.
Dave, we talked a lot about y'all's fourth down philosophy, going for it a lot. Because Palmer is such a weapon, does that ever make you think twice about it? Man, this guy can boom it,
I think the only time that really enters in my mind is when we're really struggling to get the fourth downs converted. I think, when you go for the fourth downs, the concept there is that touchdown's way bigger than a field goal, and the momentum that comes with that. You look at the Saturday's game, whether it was us getting a field goal or it's Arizona State having to settle for field goals, the game's close at the end. Any of those things are touchdowns, then we're not talking that way, And so the touchdown's just so much more impactful than a field goal. But going for fourth downs, defensively, if you don't get it, you're in a tough spot. Especially if you're not playing well. Ball's turned over, they're on your 40 going in, and you give up 10 yards, that's going to be at least a field goal. And so there's added weight to making those things. I have a lot of confidence that we can continue to make those things, though.
Dave, how important is momentum to this team, whether in a single game or across the season?
I think, momentum is always important. I think football is a game of momentum. I think for us, the most important thing is to play together from start to finish. I think that we need a game like that, and there is no reason why it should take these many games to get to that point. It's past due. We need to get there, and that was the message this morning, and that'll be the message the rest of this week.
How's Cooper Lands doing? And is that a long-term thing?
He's back, yeah. I think we'll have our D-line for the first time this game. So excited for that, excited for him.
How happy are you with kind of the people that filled in for him against Arizona State?
Yeah, I thought there was some good production. I thought Jackie, it was good to have him. That fourth down stop. I think Jackie took on three guys. And so I think in any I think you have to have the guy that's going to do something like that, and we haven't had that here lately. And to have him back, he can do that and help us and change the math a little bit. But I think from the nose guard position specifically, we got to be able to see improvement there. I think some of the peso grouping and some of the dime grouping is we've got some talent at some of these DBs and outside backer spot. But it's also who would you rather have on the field, these guys or some of these nose guards? And we got to get more production out of our nose guards and better technique and better kind of everything. And so I think it's that clock is ticking.
still early in your guys' preparation for Oklahoma State, but what's some of the major things that stand out to you about that team?
They're talented. I think you look at the game plans. They're pretty specific per the opponent. There's generally going to be a run of the day. Speaking offensively, they move the pocket around quite a bit. They use screens. There's some gotcha plays in there. They do. It's game plan specific. And then I think defensively have gone against this coordinator multiple times, and a lot of respect for him. Used to visit with him 3 or 4 schools back, and is a veteran, knows a lot of ball, is aggressive, has no qualms about being aggressive and pressure and all that. And so, it's going to be a challenge. They've got good skilled people, good length. Their front are guys that defensively they can take double teams, take 2 guys. And so, they're going to come out fighting. We're going to make sure we come out fighting too.
Dave, when defenses are doing whatever they can to keep y'all from your vertical passing game, what are the offensive answers that y'all need to go to?
Yeah, I think the screen game was there really for the most of the night. As some of the turnovers were happening there. I thought that the individual kind of option routes and move the pocket throws, we call it like a Uber concept, where there's a tight end in the back, swing out, and there'll be probably 4 guys to a side. And so there's kind of the check down and basically has a lead blocker. This is something that Oklahoma State runs too. Those are all answers, and those are all things that we did. I think, our best players have to come alive in those moments, and I think it was probably more that than anything.
Dave, you don't often expect a 4th and short to go for like a 50-yard touchdown or whatever it was, but Bryson, does a spin move and gets loose. Like, is that when he does stuff like that, you get like a whole new level of appreciation for him?
Yeah, I think when that happens, there is that's impactful to your team. I think there's an energy that comes from that, and there's a belief just up front, whether it was Bryson making a jump cut and spinning and making 3 guys miss. The guys up front think they did it, and so there's juice with them, and they play harder. And so I think all of that is true, and I think we need all of that.
Dave, you talked about Josh being all in, Baylor. Is he a guy maybe that you don't worry about bouncing back, putting those mistakes behind you?
No, I think all of our guys are people, and all of our guys, are going to get focused on what's next. But all of our guys got 2 ears, and they all hear everything, and they got 2 eyes, and they see everything. And they're very mature in their focus, but stuff gets through, and they're kids more than anything. And so I think it takes someone to be a mentor and to help them navigate through. If we don't do that, we miss like the whole thing, with being a coach.
Tyler Turner is another guy that's kind of taken advantage of an opportunity to get some playing time. Is he playing more confident now? What does he add to the group now that he has a few games under his belt?
This was his best game. I think there's a focus on him and almost kind of maybe a glare, intensity that really he hadn't had up until this one. And so that is not Tyler off the field. He's the opposite of that. But this gives us, the opportunity to say whatever this is who you need to be on the field, because you play better that way. And so I think the best is yet to come with him.
Have you discussed with the team at all, it's kind of long Big 12 season, probably no one's going to go unscathed in this conference, so that y'all kind of still do have everything in front of y'all that y'all want to be able to achieve?
I haven't said it necessarily that way. I've talked more about I think what I felt when I was with them is that here we are last week having all this energy and meetings and focus. There's when you put a group together, there's an energy that comes with that. You feel it, and it was very high last week. And this is without me or anyone saying anything. Practice was the same way. If everything was a 7 normally, last week was an 8 or a 9. You could just feel it. And so, when that kind of naturally happens, I think they're probably thinking along the lines of what you're thinking, of like, hey, this is the start of the, everything in terms of conference layout and how it's going to play out. But my message was, bro, in life you can do all the things, and it doesn't mean you're going to get the thing, right? It puts you in position to get it. It doesn't mean you're going to get it, right? And so this is the effort and the concentration it takes to get into the arena of meaningful games. Now here's the things that we got to do to get over the hump. So the emphasis was that.
How is Carl doing? Is he any closer to getting back?
He was going through everything we were going through this morning, which is the continuation of last week, and so we're hopeful that this is the week that we see him.
Dave, I guess you have to actually put in the waiver or whatever, but do you expect to get that for both Phoenix and Travion another year?
I would think so. I'd hope so. I know in talking to Travion all last night and this morning, it's something he very, very much wants to do, and I know Phoenix the same way. And so you never know with the portal now and just how everything goes. But I think both those guys have a lot of football left in them, and I hope it's here at Baylor.
Speaking of the portal, do you like the one portal thing now that they're, thinking of changing to here?
My personal experience, our personal experience here at Baylor has been that, that first portal window, there's a fair amount of teams that are trying to win games right up to the opening of that. Now, there's going to be staffs within that staff that are doing all the recruiting and the evaling and all of that. But if there's 10 dudes, there's probably 6 and 4 or 7 and 3, something like that, focused on ball. And so I think as a result of that, what you get is more kids that are transferring because, hey, I didn't play. Hey, I didn't get the opportunity, or hey, it looks like it's going to trend this way. I want to go somewhere to play. The second portal window was the front office plus the position coaches. So it's 20-0 now, all working on who's on this team. He's ranked this way. So there's a lot more tampering. There's a lot more, hey, I'm comfortable here, but this school's calling me and they're offering me this much money and I got to go. That really wasn't the case in the first window. That was very heavily the case in the second one. So we'll see. Yeah, I think anything that can better the game and move it to where, a kid can be at a school and start and finish, get his degree, I think the more that happens, the better.
Dave, how's LeVar doing? I know he got banged up on Saturday.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be in protocol, and so, depending on how these next couple days go, we'll see if we have him or not.
Concussion?
Mm-hmm.